Correct. Now we'll move on to the same unit 5, the soaps and detergents, and it is the part 2. Now in this we are going to see about the manufacture of soap, the cleansing action of soap, and comparison of soap. First we'll move on to the manufacture of soap. The kettle method of making soap is still used today by small soap manufacturing companies. This process takes from 4 to 11 days to complete, and the quality of each batch is inconsistent due to the variety of oils used. Now we'll move on to the kettle process. The first step is the boiling. Fats and alkalis are melted in a kettle, which is a steel tank that can stand 3 stories high and hold several thousand pounds of material. Steam coils within the kettle heat the batch and bring it to boiling. After boiling, the mass thickens as the fat reacts with the alkali, producing soap and glycerin. The second step is salting. The soap and glycerin must now be separated. The mixture is treated with salt, causing the soap to rise to the top and the glycerin to settle to the bottom. The glycerin is extracted from the bottom of the kettle. The next third process is, or you can say the third step is strong change. To remove the small amount of fat that have not been saponified, a strong caustic solution is added to the kettle. This step in this process is called a strong change. The mass is brought to a boil again and the last of the fat returns to soap. The batch may be given another salt treatment at this time, or the manufacturer may proceed to the next step. The next step is pitching. The next step is called as the pitching. The soap in the kettle is boiled again with added water. The mass eventually separates into 2 layers. The top layer is called neat soap, which is 70% soap and 30% water. The lower layer is called nigri, contains most of the impurity in the soap, such as dirt and salt, as well as most of the water. The neat soap is taken off from the top. The soap is cooled. The soap may be poured into molds and allowed to harden into a large slab. It may be cooled even in a special freezer. This slab is cut into smaller pieces of bar size, which are then stamped and wrapped. The entire continuous process from splitting to finishing can be accomplished in several hours. So this is the schematic representation of the kettle process. The next process is the hydrolyzer process, or it is called as continuous process. In this, the first step is splitting. The first step of the continuous process splits natural fats into fatty acid and glycerin. The equipment used is a vertical stainless steel column with the diameter of a barrel called a hydrolyzer. It may be as tall as 80 feet, that is 24 meters high. Pumps and meters attached to the column allow precise measurement and control of the process. Now molten fat is pumped in one end of the column, while in the other end water at higher temperature and pressure is introduced. This splits the fat into 2 components. The fatty acid and the glycerin are pumped out continuously as more fat and water enters. The fatty acids are then distilled for purification. The second step is mixing. The purified fatty acid is next mixed with a precise amount of alkali to form soap. Other ingredients such as abrasives and fragrance are also mixed in it. The hot liquid may be then whipped to incorporate air. The third step is cooling and finishing. The soap may be poured into molds and allowed to harden into a large slab. It may be allowed to cool in a special freezer. The slab is cut into smaller pieces of bar size, which are then stamped and wrapped. The entire continuous process from splitting to finishing can be accomplished in several hours. Then next one is milling. Most toiletry soap undergoes additional process called milling. The milled bar lathers up better and has a finer consistency than non-milled soap. The cooled soap is fed through several sets of heavy rollers which crush and kneads it. Perfumes can best be incorporated at this time because their volatile oils do not evaporate in the cold mixture. After the soap emerges from the mills, it is pressed into smooth cylinder and extruded. The extruded soap is cut into bar size, stamped and wrapped. Then what happens to the byproduct? Glycerin is a very useful byproduct of soap manufacture. Now that byproduct can be used to make hand lotions, drugs, nitroglycerin, the main component of explosives such as dynamite. The next is the cleansing action of the soap. A soap molecule has different polarities. At one end of it, it has a long hydrocarbon chain that is non-polar and hydrophobic. That is, they are insoluble in water but soluble in oil. At the other end is the short polar carboxylate ion, which is hydrophilic. That is, soluble in water but insoluble in oil and grease. When soap is shaken with water, it becomes a soap solution that is colloidal in nature. Agitating of the soap tends to concentrate the solution on the surfaces and causes foaming. This helps the soap molecules make a molecular film on the surface of the water and to penetrate the fabric. The long non-polar end of the soap that are hydrophobic gravitate towards and surrounds the dirt. The short polar end containing the carboxyl ion face towards the water away from the dirt. A number of soap molecules surround or encircle the dirt and the grease is clustered structure called micelles, which encircles such particles and emulsify them. The subsequent mechanical action of rubbing or tumbling dislodges the dirt and the grease from the fabric. These get detached and washed away with the excess of water, leaving the fabric clean. The subsequent mechanical action of rubbing or tumbling dislodges the dirt and the grease from the fabric. The cleansing action of the soap is due to the micelle formation and emulsion formation. Inside water, a unique orientation forms cluster of molecules in which the hydrophobic tails are in the interior of the cluster and ionic ends on the surface of the cluster. This results in the formation of a micelle. Soap in the form of a micelle cleans the dirt as well as the oil, which will be collected at the center of the micelle. This property of the soap makes it an emulsifier. The dirt suspended in micelle is easily rinsed away. This is known as cleansing action. So this is the formation of the micelle where the hydrophilic head is there and inside there is a hydrophilic tail. A comparison of soap and detergents. Soaps are made from fats and alkali by specification method, whereas detergents are carbonic compounds which are non-alkaline. Soaps are cheap, detergents are costly. They are not suitable for delicate clothes, they are suitable for delicate clothes. They are clean better in hot water. They clean both in cold and hot water. They do not produce lather with hard water and are not able to clean the clothes. They clean the clothes even in hard water. Lot of water is needed to remove soap from clothes. Here they are removed very easily, so less quantity of water is needed. Here there are certain questions. Kindly go through it. Thank you.